Good morning and welcome to Friday, Heroes Day. Wishing all a blessed Heroes Day. Praying that whatever you do today, you may be safe and try to ensure that we don't have any major accidents on the road, and that we use this holiday as it was intended to be used for us to all have a chance to relax and to enjoy our country, to get to some of those places that we don't normally go to, and just relax with friends, family, loved ones. And just remember the work that others have done in the past, the sacrifices others have made, the visions especially that others had for our country. And as we recall those visions and ideals, let us reflect on what we have done to contribute to those ideas and ideals, and to what extent can we, going forward, make a further contribution to this dream and visions that we would have inherited. So we lift before Almighty all of our heroes, including our recent heroes, those that are still with us, still in some way contributing to the development of our nation. Remembering those unsung heroes, those whom we know from the various communities and villages, persons that would have done so much to assist young persons especially, and also families, because there were always those persons who were there looking out for individuals and helping families that were struggling to, make ends meet, providing them a loan sometimes, and other times offering them gifts with no big fanfare. No one ever knew what was going on, but they helped. And I think that we must be mindful of this. And these would have been persons from various walks of life, various races here on the island, who from time to time would have supported those who were less fortunate. And we need to remember that as we look at the wider world and all that's going on in the wider world. We need to go back and remember what our lives were like, and the contributions and the support that we would have received from different persons, and the fact that in some way or another we were able to cause this island of ours to be a peaceful nation and to grow together. So as we observe this Heroes Day and as we salute our heroes, we do so saluting them all, those known to the public and those known to us in private. And we want to thank God for their contributions to the development of this nation and the lives of the average Barbadian person through the years. So this morning, as we go into our devotion and our meditation, we want to bring into our hearts all those who would have in any way contributed to our journey through the years, especially if it was that we have had to struggle, or our parents or grandparents would have had to struggle at any point in time. Remembering those who would have supported them, those who would have provided them with a leg up, as it were, to assist them or the children in moving from where they were. We want to give God thanks and praise, and want to hold them in our hearts this morning as we breathe into our hearts with a spirit of gratitude. Gratitude for all that has been done in this little island of ours. And as we offer gratitude, we also ask for forgiveness and the ability to forgive those who would have injured us and those who we would have injured or our ancestors would have injured in one form or another. We ask God's forgiveness as we offer forgiveness. For we have all sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. So we bring that spirit of forgiveness and thankfulness into our hearts this morning as we breathe into this space, into this holy space. As we reach out in love to all who share with us in these devotions. We breathe together. Trusting God's presence and graciousness. Knowing that through the power of love, we overcome all stumbling blocks in our private lives and in the larger nation and world. We breathe each other, knowing that we draw from the same air. This sense that degree of support being offered at this time. Trusting that God is with us. God is leading us. As we turn now to our text, once when Jesus was in one of the cities, there was a man covered with leprosy. When he saw Jesus, he bowed with his face to the ground and begged him, "Lord, if you choose, you can make me clean." And then Jesus stretched out his hand, touched him, and said, "I do choose. Be made clean." Immediately the leprosy left him. And Jesus ordered him to tell no one. "Go," he said, "and show yourself to the priests, and as Moses commanded, make an offering for your cleansing for a testimony to them." But now more than ever, the word about Jesus spread abroad. Many crowds would gather to hear him and to be cured of their diseases. But he would withdraw to deserted places and pray. are at the end of the week, of the third week of Easter, a week where we were focusing on the places where Jesus shows up in our lives. And as we come to the final session for this week, we see Jesus showing up in the life of the man with leprosy, and the man asking for help. No doubt the man probably would not have imagined in his wildest sense of any likelihood that the morning that he got up and opened his eyes will be the last day that he would have been a leper. Jesus just showed up, and Jesus brought healing to the man's life, to the man's situation. This is what happens with us in this journey. Jesus does show up in our lives, and he does make his presence felt. But we also hear that as much as the folks wanted Jesus to be with them, he constantly hid himself and went off to pray. And so there's a sense in which the reason Jesus is able to show up as he does is because he was under authority. He allowed himself to be under the authority of his Father. And he constantly checked in with his Father in order that he could listen and could hear the instructions being given. So as we come to the end of our week and our reflections, it is interesting that we should recognize that, yes, there are places that Jesus show up. Yes, we have to make ourselves aware. We have to be attentive in order to recognize when Jesus shows up. We must realize that this is not our task only, but even Jesus himself, in order that he could show up in those places where he was most needed, he too had to listen. He too had to create spaces in his life that he could be aware of the fact that the Father was given instruction. This is important for us to understand, that Jesus too was under instruction. And because of that, he was able to perform the work intended. So it's two sides of the same coin, two ends of the same stick. We all must listen. We must listen. We must be aware. We must be attentive. Our Savior listens. Our Savior is attentive. Our Savior is aware of what the Father would have him do. May we, as we go forward in our own journey, may we recognize that this is not something that we have to do alone, but that Jesus, by his life and his example, has demonstrated for us how to walk this path, how to make it possible that great things take place in our lives. great things are around us when we are willing to choose to listen, to be open, to be receptive. This is the message that comes for me through this week. I hope this has been the message that you receive and that you are willing to respond to. The Christ shows up, but we only recognize the Christ's presence if we are in the space that we need to be. Because when we realize it, when we recognize it, great things happen in us, through us, and with us. Pray that we may journey with such awareness and such tremendous love. Because right now, we need it. We need that awareness. We need that love for our world.